And we're live. Welcome back to United Lens, people. This is the preview for the big blockbuster that is the Boxing Day game. We are lucky enough to be the only game on Boxing Day, so all eyes will be on us and the lack of Bruno Fernandes. So that is what we're probably going to focus on most. For anyone who joins in the chat, we all know those questions are going to be about Bruno. They're going to be about who's going to replace him. Is Mainu going to start? Has he been on the naughty step? You know, we will get into that. We'll run through Newcastle's possible starting lineup. If I look a bit glitchy or anything today, I am in different surroundings due to Christmas. Well, more due to Stranger Things coming out on Netflix. I have been kicked out of the entire downstairs while all the girls are watching it, and I've tried to lock myself away in the bedroom. So, yeah, if I start getting a little bit glitchy, as I can see on my background, you know, please excuse that. So let's start. Please like, subscribe, help me get through this algorithm nightmare as we are early days into our channel and we need the growth to continue, guys, which you have been so superb at doing. But you know, let's get straight into it. Let me try and bring up what I feel will be the suspected starting 11 against Newcastle. Let's have a look. So, without going silly, we're obviously expecting no Bruno Fernandes. Let me just see if I can enlarge that. So, there we go. So, obviously, Lamens will start in goal. So, we won't focus there, but we will focus on the rest of the play. Let's move this over. So, at the back, I don't know who's seen the press conference and the embargoed version that came out this morning. There will be no changes at the back by the looks of things, unless we've got another players coming like Fredrickson for Euro, because both De Ligt and Maguire still not fit enough to play. Now, this it's a little bit worrying for De Ligt because it's a back injury, and Maguire now has been out for what it feels like almost 2 months. I can't remember. I feel. Am I right in thinking the Everton game was his last game, and he came off injured, or was it the game after? But either way, it is affecting us big time. Very young, very inexperienced at the back. Luke Shaw is not the most verbal of defenders. You only need to open your eyes to see that, which I feel Lenny Euro needs it. Not so much Aidan Heaven. I think Aidan Heaven has been superb, and I've been very impressed with how he's stepped into the role, especially the central centre back. He's only really predominantly played as a left-sided, but anyone who's played at the back, really playing in the middle of a back three is no difference to playing in the middle, left or right side of a back four. You know, you're not playing a fullback role. You're still just defending the central space. Keep yourself in and around the D, and that's all you've got to do. And as long as you're communicating to your left and right side and telling them to tuck in. In the last couple of games, it seems that Luke Shaw has been jumping out of position but tucking straight back in, whereas Lenny Euro seems to get caught too high and out of position, which is what we got. You know, Rodgers exploited him for both goals, really. But I felt he yet again was left exposed by Diego Dallo. So please get in the comments and just let me know if you feel that's a problem. I don't expect the wing backs to change at all. I thought Dorgu put in a good shift over on the left. Over here, obviously we'll come back to that before I say why I feel Dorgu put in a good shift. Him and Mason Mount seemed to play a really good version. It was like almost at one point we were playing a back four and Mount would drop in as if he was playing as a left winger. And that was only on the left. Whereas on the right with Dallo, he was permanently sort of in this space above Cunha, where you can see the cursor going now, sort of almost parallel with Sesko, and that's not good. And that's why Lenny Euro was moving up and getting caught in behind because he's got to occupy the space for the passing patterns. And if the wing back is too high, then the whole thing is going to go to shit. And unfortunately, we didn't have Casemiro in the last game, who is he's that read of the game. You know, whenever we attack, when we're attacking these big numbers, and we are going forward in numbers now, we are getting sort of threes, fours, fives in and around the box. You need those players in the squad who go, "Hey, we're just going to sit." I know we hear it a lot from Roy Keane, but he is right. You need someone to just go, "Hey, what happens if this breaks down? We need to be set. We need to be ready to jump, and we just need someone to talk and have the discipline." I'm expecting Casemiro to put the armband on tonight, um, for that exact reason. Now, the only downside to Casemiro, who is by far our most, intelligent and professional player, you don't win 5 Champions League medals, as the manager said in his press conference, and really bigged up Casemiro, saying how he takes on all the small bits of information, and he knows where people need to be. It's him and Bruno that really dictate people's positions. But Casemiro, I love him. You can probably tell from previous videos and other shows. I just wish he'd learned English better, because says me saying that. Because unfortunately, his lack of English is really what's hampered us, the communication. So he's fine communicating to people in Spanish/Portuguese. But, if we can set up how I've got it with Cunha, Casemiro, Dallo, then there's communication there, which is superb, because they all be able to communicate in Portuguese. But, Martinez, he can communicate with, but not so much with Heaven and Euro behind him. So it'll be very interesting, and if he plays more of a defensive role. So if we move over to the left-sided central midfielder, I don't know one Man United fan who's probably not asking for this to be the case. If I had to choose over Ugarte or Martinez to step in, it's Martinez 100 out of 100. I wish it was Kobe Mainoo, but as far as from the press conference, he's still carrying a knock, and he's not going to get his chances to step into these roles when Bruno's not playing. Most likely, they're both going to be fit at the same time, and he's just going to lose his opportunity again, which that's what football's all about. We all want Mainoo to play, but football really is about being at the right place at the right time. If you're a striker, can you be in the box? If you're a defender, can I cut out that ball? But more importantly, if I'm a footballer, can I be available for the games? Ferguson quite rightly said the most important aspect of a player is that he's fit for every game. Because if you're not fit, I can't pick you. End of. There's no story really to go into on that. But I feel Martinez with that left foot plays Dorgu in more naturally down the side, can link up better with Mount. Again, balls. We seem to get in and around the box and drag out to the right-hand side with Bruno or Ahmad or Mbumo, and the ball's all coming from that side, But what was it? 2 games ago, when Cunha missed the header and Ahmad just guides it in on the goal line, was from Dallo finally getting a ball in from the left. Now, the only problem with Dorgu and Dallo is they're right-footed balls in, so they're in-swingers towards the goalkeeper. Whereas with Luke Shaw stepping forward behind Martinez, they can even dovetail. It's a natural drop back in if Shaw does bomb on ahead, but it's also 2 left-footed players who can swing that ball in away from the goalkeeper, which means, do I come and get it? And it is Ramsdale. He's not going to be as confident coming for those high balls, as Newcastle's normal goalkeeper in Nick Pope. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, as you can see, we have brought Sesko back in up top. I really hope that the Sesko we've seen in the last 2 games, where he's making a runs in behind, maybe dropping the linking of the play down to more like 60-40, 60% he runs in behind, 40% he links it up and goes. Because I felt that he stretches that back line. And, you know, Newcastle have got a bit of a makeshift backline, but the one thing they don't have, well, sorry, one thing they thrive at doing is dominating the midfield. So it will be interesting to see how we do that, because really we've got a little box midfield going between these four here with two defensive and two attacking. And if Sesko just drops in and makes an extra man, Tonali and Umares are probably going to be a little bit pinned back, and I would think that's probably our system for today is pin the midfielders back. But the problem is when they break, will we be able to keep up with them? Mason Mount, Cunha, hard runners. Cunha not necessarily the biggest defender. Mason Mount, we've seen him try and get back. Seems he's got that sort of John Terry-esque Vidic, Ferdinand, defend with your life. So he's grown up around the greatest players when it comes to defending. So this will be the real question. And, I'll come back to a minute about why I say that. But if Sesko can get in behind, I'm looking for one or two touch finishing from him today. Sort of just take a touch, hit a shot, take a touch, feed the ball, and run and just get across that 6 yard box. It'll be very interesting for without Ahmad and Mbermo cutting back onto their left foot, will Diego Dalot be able to fire the ball across the box a lot more? Can we get those someone on the front, someone on the back, late runners into the box? And that's going to be one of the main changes on the midfield. For if anyone saw the interview with Bruno Fernandes, I believe it was with Rio, where he was talking about Amorim wants both Bruno and Kobe Mainu to become sort of like the third 10 in this area here when we get into the final third. So we can all work around the box. One makes a run in, maybe he goes offside. As he comes back out, someone makes another run. And we sort of just a bit more fluid, a bit more linking the play up. But today, I can't see Martinez and Casemiro having the same kind of, how should I put it? It's the attacking sort of prowess. Casemiro drifts in at the back post a lot on set pieces, so maybe he could do it, but then he doesn't get back. Martinez, at the end of the day, I'd rather he sat back and we sat in, and defend any lead what we get, rather than him push forward into the box. When he came on last week, he did unleash one hell of a drive from outside, so maybe that's it. Maybe he'll have the shots from outside, and Mount and Cunha will be forced to get more in, and maybe Dalot or Dorgu can make the inverted run inside of the tens towards the back post. Again, this is all how I would play football from my background and my coaching experience in this kind of formation, but it's going to be a hard one. It's going to be a very, very hard game. The only upside I'd say for our starting 11 is that we're home today. Boxing Day, all those fans, all those kids who have had their tickets probably surprised to them for Christmas Day. I feel that they have to be up to it. They have to understand what what Manchester United means to the young fans, what being there today means to those young fans. So yeah, please let me know who else you would change. Would you drop Mount into the midfield? Maybe bring in Xerxes in a 10. Give us a chance to get maybe two strikers up. Maybe in Xerxes up top and play Sesko the left-sided 10 where we played. So that would be very interesting. Very, very interesting. We could easily get him sort of into that position. So that these could rotate like this, whatever. Mount's played through the middle for us in pre-season. Cunha's been up there while Sesko was out. So even if you brought Xerxes in, take Martinez out, it'll be more attacking. But is that what we need tonight? I'm not sure we need the attacking lineup. So we'll have to wait and see. So let's move on to the suspected Newcastle lineup. I wasn't sure on Murphy, so I will say that straight away. Let's get this shared up on the screen so everyone can see it. Right, so Ramsdale, I'm expecting to start, as you can see. and then Hall, Shirt, Fall, Millie, Yomarez, Tonali, Ramsey, Gordon, Baltimore, as I call him, and Murphy. But Murphy could quite easily be Elanga, as far as I'm aware. I something in my head said Murphy picked up a knock and Elanga might start, but for this, I don't think we need to worry about it too much. Let's have a look. Keep that shrunk down, I think. So let's just zoom it in a little. So yeah, backline. I think we can get at that backline. It's not its natural sort of solidness, and it has been exposed recently. But it's the protection it gets from the midfield. So that's why I'm saying going forward, we could be great. We could really expose them in numbers, but it's that second ball. It's the breakdown of play. If we're going to start throwing balls in behind these back four or even through the gaps for runners, what are we going to do when they're cleared? Okay. Ramsdale is most likely to put his foot through the ball. So say it's played through, back pass, come back. Here, he's not looking to play out of the back. He'll be looking to knock it straight up to Voldemort up front and almost turn this into a Christmas tree formation going forward. Very similar to what we would play, or should I say, what a lot of our fans wish we played in a 4-3-2-1, with Murphy and Gordon running off the flicks from a slightly more deeper line on as a 10, or even straight in behind, and Voldemort comes in late, running off the back of Casemiro and Martinez. And it's that area here. If we can pin Tonali and one other back, be it Ramsey or um, Guarares, I can never say his name, back, then we're going to have more of a sort of 2v1 in the midfield if we sit back. But if we step forward, like I was saying about Martinez putting the left ball in and leave it 1-for-1, Ramsey will probably be the one they leave up. And he's quick. Casemiro will not catch him, and we will end up 4-3 at the back. And, Guimaraes is also very quick to cover the ground to make the extra man coming in late into the box. So it is all going to be about how we dominate that midfield today. Ideally, probably see a change in formation, and we take one of the 10s out and we play or drop Mount into a 3-man midfield more than playing as a 10, and then put 2 up top. So we go more 3-5-2. That's the best way to overrun a 3-man midfield, because you then have to pull the Gordon and Murphy out wide to cover the wing backs, leading Voldemort up front against three centre backs. And I know it's a handful, but I would expect him to be dealt with. It's going to be a big ask on the keeper as well. Balls into the box today towards his head. Can you come and claim them? We haven't really seen it as much since the first couple of games, where he was coming out, taking the ball in the air. And all of a sudden, all the fans were calling him the next Peter Schmeichel, that he was dominating his box. But I can understand with a younger defence, maybe he hasn't got the confidence in them. Maybe they don't have the confidence in him. And you might feel that you don't need to come and claim, but then you just punch, just 2 hands, get it away, because there will be a lot of balls into our box today. And really, that's why we wanted Harry Maguire back. Even if he was just on the bench, I kid you not, if we start getting pinned back 0-0, can we put Harry Maguire on and just sit on the 18-yard box, defend deep, so he's only got to run 6 to 12 yards, and just put your head on every ball. That would be amazing, but I don't think it's going to happen today. But Anthony Gordon and Murphy, especially Gordon. So if we line up at the back with Euro, the questions are, what have you learned from playing the last 2 games where you are going to be exposed by your not having a covering wing back? When are you going to sit that little bit deeper? Give only 5 yards space to the winger rather than 10-15 yard space where we and not occupy the area that is vacant by him, because I expect their front three to play high and wide. Good old fashioned way of putting it, keeping chalk on their boots and just staying as wide as possible. Then that will just give 1v1 in the middle. And if they've got the pace in Ramsey and Guimaraes, that's running off our midfield. They're going to have free shots on any pullbacks or crosses into the box. If Voldemort can sort of shield it or chest it down or anything like that. So they could be very dangerous on the counter attack versus us, especially if Murphy becomes Elanga, who is absolutely rapid. So yeah, that's sort of how I see this going today, guys. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you feel might be different. I am looking to get back on after the game. I think it'll be about 10, 11. Totally different time zones. I do get that for an instant reaction. If not, I will do it tomorrow evening, maybe. So please, like, share, subscribe. You can also follow United Lens over on TikTok, where we've got a growing community over there. But yes, please help me get through the algorithm. Any comments, the hype meter, if you know about it, you have to just swipe across on your phone on the comment section. It'll give you the option to hype. But your comments, the amount of engagement, just give it a thumbs up. If you're in here, just help a guy out to get better. And in the coming days, we will be upgrading technology. It's just a hard time to do it around this time of year, as you can imagine. And I will speak to you all soon. So tonight, let's just do a quick preview of the score. From my point of view, I feel it's a 1-0 written all over this, I'm afraid. Not sure which way it's going to go. Obviously, I'm going to back United. 1-0 and Martinez screamer from outside the box. It's just going to be a funny game. I think it's going to be a very defensive, tactical match. So again, put that in the comments, and I will catch you again on the United Lens. Thank you for watching.